To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
I know what you're thinking, that a gigantic arachnid came and took me away because we were talking about spiders and bugs and all that other creepy stuff today. So we are talking about the fact that now they want you to eat bugs, and so I'm going to bring you a few differences. What do I think about it? What do I think about eating bugs? What do I think about eating insects? Has there been bugs and insects eaten for many years? Yes, of course there has. But does that mean that we're supposed to eat them? I think that's the bigger question. Are we supposed to eat them? Crickets. It's what's for dinner. But it bugs me, Sandy Heron says. Sounds good, except for the pork. Watchful alert says. Not my dinner, says camper van Mark Motorway Runner. I like it. I like it. Hello. How are you today? Good to see you. Is that Char Manella? How do you say your name? That's really cool. I like it. I like it. And you say nope. SXSK says no way. All right. All right. Didn't John the Baptist eat them? He probably did. It's no telling what they had to eat back in those days. Nothing like a tall glass of cricket milk after a long day in the factory. Trace. Watchful and Alert says, hey, he ate locusts. I think that's what he's talking about. Ali Power, hey fam, how are you? Only if I was starving, which is what they're possibly going to do to enter the bug. All right, that's probably what they're going to do to make you want to eat the bugs, is make sure that you are starving. There's a lot of things that are going on right now that are actually making it a little illegal for you to even be able to grow your own fruits and vegetables. We talked about that in part not long ago. They're making sure that there are different laws where you can't even barter now. I know that a while ago, I'm not even sure if they changed that law or not, but a while back you weren't able to barter in Florida. Anybody check on that for me if you're in Florida? Hey, Millie, and check and see if there is that law, if that law still exists, where you couldn't barter, you're not able to have quality fertilizer, so therefore you're not able to put good fruits or vegetables in the ground. And then there was also the whole thing about, you can't have any fresh fruits or trees in your backyards. Well, because we don't want to have a different type of the met fly or the bugs or something like that. They were concerned with, allegedly. All these things are always there to protect you. Everything is to protect you. And I'm not sure if you believe that it is for your protection or not, but I don't believe that it's for your protection, but they say it is. And that's what I say. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And just like, there's a lot of things. Here's the deal. There were some dietary things that were listed a long time ago in the Bible that said you shouldn't eat X, Y, or Z. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate. There's a lot of people that say, well, you know what? He said just to bless it in the New Testament and go on ahead and eat it. That doesn't work. Devil's advocate, remember, you should eat it. If you bless it, and then you should eat it. It should be okay. Never mind the fact that there are several studies that show that you can get sick from doing this. Now, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. We watch those naked and afraid shows, and we are rooting for them to get the bugs and to tear them apart, because look at you, you're going to be malnutrition if you don't eat the bugs. Get the bugs, get the snakes, get it all, Christina. Gather it all into the yard and eat the bugs. That's what we be hoping. But the truth about the matter is, do you want to be forced to eat something like that as a way of life? Like in the movie that I referenced yesterday when I was talking about the show that we're about to get into. Huh? Think about that. Think about it. So you're going to get forced to eat bugs. So if you eat bugs, then what's next? We said crickets. It's what's for dinner. But what about other things? Other living organisms? You scared? Hmm. Well, let's go ahead and get into some of our stories. Hmm. Let's see. I'm going to do the 6 most common parasites. I think I want to start with that one. Why would you do that, Felicia? Well, because I sort of want to lay this down as the groundwork for everything else that we're going to build on this afternoon. We only have an hour together. That's all we've got, if that. We may have 40 minutes. We may have 30. Depends on how far we get through here. So I want to make sure that I do my best to give you the screen like I normally do, make it nice and large so that you can see it. And then I want to build our conversation on top of this. All right. So, the 6 most common parasites that infect the human body, you guys know we're good friends with Dr. B. And this is exactly what he talks about all the time. So I decided we're going to start here, and then we're going to build on top of it everything that they want us to understand about the edible crickets as well as the edible bugs that they would like for us to dine on, because, well, it's got lots of protein, and they say it's what's for dinner. I got to be a stinker. I got to be a stinker. There are many types of human parasitic worms that include pinworms, tapeworms, roundworms, hookworms, flukes, whipworms, and many others. The parasites vary in size and shape, and they cause different types of problems. They consume a significant portion of nutrients from a person, leaving him or her hungry and unhealthy. Below is a list of the common parasites of the body. Had to give it to you like that, of the body. Why? Because, well, let me come over here and see you for this one right quick. Everything that's going on right now reminds me of Bane. Every single thing that's going on right now reminds me of that particular episode of Batman. And the reason why it's for the people. Like, he had all of them folks stuck downstairs, had them all stuck in all the tunnels. And now we're finding out more information about tunnels. Well, that's the reason why I had to say for the body, because we're going to talk like Bane at least a little bit today, because this is all cattywampus. None of this stuff makes any sense. So here we go. Here we go. Let's get into this. Let me go ahead and take my face off like I promised and give it all to you guys. Yes, it tastes like chicken. That's right. It tastes like chicken, and it's good for the body. Yes, they are, Jerry Kings. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh, we got some kings in our family. I'm not sure if you king or really a king, but yeah, we got some kings in our family. So that's what they're doing. They are normalizing exactly what you just put up there. All right. So now for the body, individuals who are infected can be treated by administering these antihistaminic drugs, such as albendazole and all this other stuff that is not true. I mean, that's what they say. Okay. So yeah, you go to see your doctor if you got it. I'm gonna have to start just opening up another tab and just talking someplace else very freely. But nonetheless, yes, you do what they say. The human pinworm is the intestinal parasites affect many people in the United States, and the pinworms often live in human beings' small intestines. The female parasite moves into the anus at night and lays its eggs in the person. and the person's perennial skin folds, the larva, then travel to the lower intestines after being hatched, and they lead to retron infection. So retro infection. That's what it leads to. Most people or have been infected are asymptomatic, but they may trigger appendicitis in children. Hmm. Goes on to say that the pinworm is diagnosed by checking for ova and the female pinworm in the perineal swabs through a microscope. The sample needs to be taken in the morning, and the drugs need to be used for treatment. There is the Ascaris, has been known to be the world's most common parasitic worm infection. The Ascaris lumbrosides, soadides, is a worm that grows to up to 35 centimeters long and is the biggest roundworm that lives in the human body. The parasite can stay in a person's small intestines for as long as 2 years if it's not treated. One female Ascaris lumbrosides, or whatever you want to say, lumbrosides. Girl, can you do it? I don't know. You could try it. I just did. Did it work? Nope. Continuing. Can lay approximately 200,000 eggs in the soil, and their life cycle has different organs that include the lungs and the liver. An infected person is asymptomatic, but in few cases, individuals may develop malnutrition, stunted growth, hepatobiliary injury, and pneumonia, as well as encephalia. I think is that where encephalitis comes from, you guys? Is that where that comes from? Eosinophilia? Is that the same thing as encephalitis? Is that in that family? So number 4 is hookworms, Nectar americanus, and a cyclotoma duodenal. We know when we see the word duodenal that means the bottom. Something to do with the old bottom. Now, these parasites are widespread and they infect millions of people across the world. They have been ranked second after the first one that we were talking about, the Ascaris, in the list of the most common intestinal infections. Hookworms enter into the body by their larvae penetrating through the skin when a person comes into contact with contaminated soil. The worm travels to the lungs and then it migrates to the intestines during swallowing. These parasites do not multiply in the body, and therefore the infection can end if one is not exposed again. A cyclotoma has a lifespan of 1 to 3 years, while the nectar lives for 3 to 10 years. Can you imagine? For 3 to 10 years. That's really long. Most of the common symptoms include vague abdominal pain, nausea, or diarrhea, and they can be treated by using the anthelmintic drugs. Also, they can be used by going to the page that is my homepage. You will see elevationtime.com. I'm gonna go ahead and let me come over here for you guys. Okay. Let me see you. Okay. You can go to elevationtime.com. Go on my homepage, click the link there. You know that I'm an affiliate. All right. So click the link. And then I want you to read there. Because here's the deal. Yeah, they may want you to eat bugs for dinner, but we just got through seeing that there are some things that eating bugs just may not be good for, or having infections with bugs just may not be good for. And a distended stomach, has anybody had that feeling? Has anybody had it? Yeah. Little diarrhea and don't know why? Yeah. Change in the stool and don't know why? Yeah. Do we eat meat? Is the meat healthy? Not all the time. Some of the time it is when we can get it from a trusted place, but now we're seeing that we're having some issues. So go to my homepage, hit elevationtime.com, please. Somebody, anybody, and treat yourself to getting cleansed from this stuff before we get into reading how it's better for us to eat these particular buggeroonies. Buggeroonies. Okay, so let's see. Now, we go here, number 5. All right. Let's see. Most common symptoms include the vague abdominal pain, the nausea, or the diarrhea, and they can be treated by using, go to my homepage, intestinal trematodes. Now, these are referred to as intestinal flukes. Somebody just put that in the chat. I just saw that. I think it may have been, I'm on the other side, so I don't know, but somebody just said this. And they usually vary in size. The most common species of the flat hematodritic parasites include echinostoma, those ones, and the metatomatoma. But we don't know these things by their name. All we know is they're not good for us, and they make you itch in the most embarrassing of ways. So this is also the Yoko Gawi. People are mainly infected after consuming an undercooked intermediate host. Do you like the way they put that? People are mainly affected after consuming an undercooked intermediate host, which may be vegetables, fish, or other animal. The worms live on the walls of the patient's small intestines, but most people are asymptomatic. But adult flukes lead to ulceration and inflammations, and inflammation in patients can be treated by taking 3 doses of the, go to my homepage. All right, you can take this medicine here, right here, the elethylmelanomentic medication. Did you know what I learned the other day? And I'm sure you guys have already known this, but do you know that when I was looking into the whole deal with how we got away from using the actual medications that the Father put for us here on this planet, when I tell you the way that it happened was that we actually had an invasion at one point. If you look in the history of America, you will find that there was a point where that's all we used was what the Father gave us and what he put here for us, right? Well, let me come on the screen and tell you. So what ended up happening was, I believe it's the Rockefeller guy. Was it the Rockefeller guy? I could look it up for you. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you a small video. All right. Daryl Calhoun, absolutely, but you need other stuff to go along with that. Let me tell you exactly what happened. He says, hey, you know what? I own all this petroleum and all. So they found a way to sustain medications by making petrochemical, and this is just a short cliff note, the petrochemical medications. And then they wanted, of course, to rub out the people like my people and your people, for those of us who have some, indigenous backgrounds or whatever, to whatever country. They had a lot of those individuals that would go out and pull up the herbs and all that stuff, which is the reason why you saw them burn down all of the rainforests. And then you saw all of them change the herbs. Remember when we did the recall, or we did the information on all the herbs that we were putting in our food? Remember that? And we were seeing that they had arsenic and other things put inside of it. Do you guys remember that? It had cumin and it had capsicum and it had all these different things that we understood to be healthy. Please, if you don't remember that, go back maybe like 8 months. And we were talking then about how we had all of the spices and stuff that had been recalled or that you should know about. All right. So all of those things that you can get, a lot of that stuff, they've already tampered with, because a lot of those companies are already owned by a lot of the companies that we already know. But in any case, I digress. This guy went about his way to make sure that nobody could beat him. And so what he did was he infiltrated the health and wellness. And that's how you get these cats involved in what they're in right now. That's the reason why they've been lobbying Washington and all these other places, because, well, they took over a long time ago. But the petrochemical industry that was founded by that dude is the reason why we have to now fight for the right to use a medicinal herb, which, as we know, they have changed a lot of them. Okay. Anytime you can go and buy something readily without anybody standing over you, you ought to know they've already had their little nasty, measly hands in it, unless you can get somebody that can go out and source these things from foreign countries and places that are not as tapped. And then when you do get them, you see that those things are a little bit higher price, because They have got to go through a lot of stuff to get them, to source them. So, for example, when you go to the website, you're going to see that there are a lot of things that are a little higher in price. That's because they're harder to get, and they're at the closest to their purest source. Um, and then also, once you go through and you look through the guidebook that you get when you order some stuff, you're going to find why a lot of the stuff is hard to get. But anyway, yeah, I got to do this. I got to tell you guys about the good stuff instead of bringing all the bad stuff. I'm gonna give you this bad stuff in a minute, but first I'm gonna give you how to fix it, baby. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. So the parasite, this is the one right here, the entomoba. Wow, look at the name, histolytica, histolytica. Huh, huh, huh. Yes, they are, Brian. Oh, amazing. Amazing. That is so amazing. So, this particular parasite is a protozoan and it leads to a disease that is known as amoebiasis. It infects the body through the ingestion of the contaminated food, water, or soil, and the parasites of often penetrate. Is that what it says? Of often penetrate the mucosal barrier, and it leads to the destruction of tissues, colitis, and bloody diarrhea. It's not good. The tropozoites can move to organs such as the lungs, liver, and brain through the blood, hence causing the formation of the abscesses. The asymptomatic amoebiasis or basis can also be cured by using the stuff that we talked about. Okay. So I had to go ahead and lay that out there as we're going to talk about eating the bugs. And now the next place that we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at, can you eat crickets? All you need to know. And then we're also going to look at why eating insects may not be as sustainable as it seems. And for that, we had to go all the way back to 2000 and something to find a story that was done by Forbes because, well, we weren't able to come up with another one that was closer to now because, of course, they want you to eat bugs because that's what's for dinner. So let's go on ahead and we're going to pull up now. Can you eat them? Can you eat them? Would you eat them? Could you eat them? Should you eat them? All right, so can you eat crickets? There you go. All you need to know. All right, so the etymophagy or eating insects is a practice that dates back to prehistoric times. Crickets are one of the most common insects people consume. Products containing cricket protein have grown in popularity due to the consumer demand for more sustainable protein options. Hmm. But aren't the bugs that we just got through seeing, um, like the worms, aren't worms something that's full of protein? Yeah, I think they are. Insects like crickets are rich in nutrients, especially protein, and may be more sustainable than other protein sources such as beef. However, some people aren't comfortable eating crickets because they're concerned about food safety. This article explains the benefits and the potential risks of using crickets as a source or as a food source. Why do people eat crickets and other insects? Well, people have used crickets as a food source in many parts of the world for thousands of years. And in fact, biblical scriptures dating back from the third to the first century BC mention cricket consumption. Yeah, well, they're not giving it to us the correct way, but nonetheless, the show is not about that. That's for the Lockhart perspective, where we dig into biblical principles. It goes on to say that in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, eating insects as a part of traditional cultures. People use about 2,100 species of insects for food, with crickets being the most common insect food source worldwide. Insects are cheap, sustainable, and an easy to produce source of nutrients. And they are especially rich in protein, the article says. Most people commonly eat crickets under resourced countries and under resourced countries. I want you to focus on that term. Most people eat crickets in under resourced countries. where many people experience food insecurities and other animal sources of protein, like cattle, poultry, fish, and fish, and they are scarce. Let me come on this side and talk to you for a second. We cannot look at this without understanding the purpose of the introduction of why you should eat bugs. People most commonly eat crickets in under resourced countries. This is something that should face us and that we should look in the mirror alongside. So, in other words, when we see this statement, we should be looking in the mirror to let the statement bounce back to us to understand that even though this is what is being promulgated across the land right now, and even though there are several people who are pushing this as a normal way of life, the issue is this is not normal. And if you are coming from an under resourced country, then it is then understandable and then acceptable to eat these bugs. Please, as they do this and as they bring this to you more and more, and lots of different news stories and things of that nature, please remember that. Please, please, that right there can put a nail in this conversation, because most people commonly eat crickets in under-resourced countries where many people experience food insecurity and other animal sources of protein, like cattle, like poultry, like fish, where they are scarce. Please, whenever you see this, because see, here's the deal, you guys. In a minute, you all know we're not going to be as free to talk. In a minute, you know that we're not going to be as free to share info, because a lot of this will be considered misinformation. So here's what I need you to do. I want you to remember that. It also says that research shows that people in Western countries aren't entirely comfortable eating insects because they tend to view insects as unclean or potentially dangerous. Well, I'm going to say this. They have a place in the food chain, as it were. Bugs, all bugs, have a specific purpose for their creation. They have a purpose as to why they were created, and there are tasks that they were put here to do. Every bug, okay, has a reason. And I submit that it's not for us to eat them. But then again, that's simply my opinion. Okay. So it says that Western countries aren't entirely comfortable eating insects because they tend to view insects as unclean or potentially dangerous. However, more people have begun to accept cricket consumption in Europe and the United States and Canada, as food companies have created user-friendly cricket-based products like protein powders and protein, let me go back on this side so I can see that, bars. Okay? Well, that's because they want you to do it in those countries, in those particular areas. Look at the areas that they've just named. They named North America and then the UK and then England or whatever. All right? There are some things that we're not supposed to consume for a reason. So we got to get this in our mind. Here's a summary. Eating insects is a practice that dates back to thousands of years. It's more common in certain parts of the world, such as Africa and Asia, but is becoming more accepted. You see, accepted. That is the word, accepted. If you don't accept it, then they won't be able to do it. But you don't have to accept everything that comes your way. So it's becoming accepted in other countries as well. Benefits to eating the crickets. Well, here goes some benefits they want you to understand. And they don't want you to forget these benefits. But what I don't want you to forget is that statement that we had up here. The poor part and the under-resourced. So in as much as we're going to listen to what they have to say, I'm still going to let you see this. Again, food insecurity and other animal sources. And we already know what's going on. You got cattle dropping dead, huh? And you got people like Mr. Help Me Smithers coming out telling you to go eat bugs. And this cat is not only eating bugs, he's also telling you that not only to eat bugs, but this is the same cat who took, and I'm going to show you the water, took a glass of water that came from a toilet primarily and alleged to have partaken in it. And he didn't partake in that. That dude was probably drinking some fancy schmancy water. But yeah, they're trying to let you reclaim. So here's the goal: let you be poor, let you not own anything and be happy. Happy. What was the old word that used to what was the old word that used to mean happy back in the day? And now it means something else. We're gonna take a little field trip right quick. What was the other word that used to mean happy? Come on now. Come on now. What was the other word that used to mean happy? Anybody? Anybody in the class? Oh, come on now. There you go. That's the word. So you will own nothing and you all gonna be this. Did you get it yet? That's what they mean. You're gonna own nothing and everybody gonna be like this right here. Gonna be happy. Gonna be happy. Okay? So you're going to own nothing and that's what you're gonna be. Huh? Yeah. So that is the goal. That is the goal. That is the goal. That's exactly right. Rick the Explorer. That's what we're saying right here. That is really what it means. So we're going to go ahead on and put it all out there. We need to put it out there. That's what it means. That's what they want you to do. Okay. So now, in tandem with that, we have to look at the fact that, of course, they would need for the cricket consumption to be accepted in Europe and the United States and Canada. Why? Because these are supposed to be the places that are civilized. Why? Because the other folk ain't got no food. So they already eating the bugs. They already out there digging around looking for termites like chimpanzees. So they don't need them to do this. Catch on now. Come on now. Catch on. They don't need them to do it. They need you to do it. That's why they said Europe, United States, Canada is picking up speed. And so now what are they doing? They're putting it in pretty little packages. They're putting it in pretty little packages. A little leaven, leaven at the whole lump. We just said that yesterday. That should be this theme for this week. A little leaven, leaven at the whole lump. You get a little bit in you and you want a little more, and it tastes okay. Tastes like chicken. Everything tastes fine. Little crispy. Had a little salty to it. Had a little sweet to it. Had a little tang. Had a little crunch when I bit it. This could replace some potato chips easily. I got to put it out here like this because you know why? If I don't, I know there's a lot of other people who have touched this topic and touched this subject, but I'm here to tell you right now today, I got to keep bringing it back to what's real, what they really think of us. I got to keep doing that. This is what I got to do. Oh, I can't taste it if it's ground up inside of this protein powder. I can't taste it. Really? Really? You get your pancreas all set up for sugar, and then we send you a fake sweetener. Where does that sweetener go? Does it sort of just like hang out on the tissues? Where do some of these things go when you get your body, a specific part of your body already set up psychologically? See, here's the deal. Your body is smarter than you are. Our bodies are smarter than we are. You know why? Because our bodies can tell us stuff and we get so foolish and we just ignore it. The body can tell us we're thirsty and we think we're hungry, so we go overeat. The body can tell us that it needs a specific type of sugar. And we start eating sugar, but really we needed to go grab some beets. Huh? The body can talk to us. The body tells us stuff. And that's what this is telling you right here. This is letting you know that what they plan to do is to make you feel like, oh, well, it's okay. You go ahead on and eat this and eat that. Go ahead and switch this in for that. Switch that out for this. You don't have to have that. You can eat this. Look, the body can do it. Just chew it and eat it. You're here, right? You lived, right? You're okay, right? You okay? See, you okay? It worked. Go ahead on and eat that. We got to lay this down here where the cows can get it. And that comes from my sister. Black Spring says that. I'm going to put this down here where the cows can get it. It's a phrase her father used to say. That's what she said. Rest his soul. So they use it in products like protein powders and protein bars. But that's what they want you to do. Again, they've already got the other countries. They don't need them. Now, for you, what they're going to do is they're going to make sure that they put it in the most pretty packages because, see, these countries can afford the pretty packages. They can't afford that over there where they have no meat, where they have no cattle, where they have cows that are walking alongside them. You can see their ribs touching their stomachs. They don't need all that fancy schmancy stuff. The fancy stuff is for you. And the bad part about it is we'll sit there and eat this trash in a little pretty little, cellophane type package. And we'll be sitting there like, oh, well, they put it in this package. Yeah, your enemy would dress it up for you. Every bit of information that you get, just because it's information and it looks like it's high tech, don't mean it came from your friend. Because your enemy knows the way that you need to receive this stuff. All the stuff that's bad to eat for you, it ain't going to come in something that's like, a raggedy bag with a whole bunch of holes in it, dripping a whole bunch of stuff and bugs crawling down your arm. No, sir. No, ma'am. They're going to give it to you the way they want you to have it. And I'm here to tell you that you was not created to consume that stuff. So when you think about the passage that they're about to start using on you that tells you just bless it and eat it, everything that goes around his head he saw swarming above his head, y'all better check where that passage came from. Rise, Peter, slay and eat. You better check it. You better check who inserted it. Why? Because your father ain't going to change up on you. See, you don't serve a schizophrenic father in heaven. Yah is not schizophrenic. He ain't going to say one thing today and another thing tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, he told you over and over again. Over and over and over again. I'm the same yesterday, today, forever. Here's a clue. Guess what? I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. Hey, guess what? Your buddy, your enemy, gonna come and tell you that I said such and such, but I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. All of the scriptures that you have been using to make it okay to go opposite of the dietary stuff that he told you, believer. I'm not talking to people who ain't no believer. I'm talking to ones who claim to be believers. Huh? They're going to use every single scripture that you've ever known to make you eat bugs. And you're going to eat crickets. You're going to own nothing. And you're going to be what? Huh? Huh? What you going to be? You're going to eat crickets. You're going to own nothing. And you're going to be happy. And they're going to use the scriptures in the book that you love, that I love, to get you to go in that direction. Sure they are. Sure they are. Rise, Peter, slay and eat. They're going to bring that scripture right to your face. And you're going to be hungry. And because you're hungry, and because you know the scripture, you're going to say, well, he did say to not call nothing that he blesses. Yeah, okay. All right, I'll take a bowl of it. I'll take a bowl. Yeah, he knew this was going to happen, so he must. Come on. I'm here to tell you today, wake up. In 2022, when it comes to your face, I'm telling you right now, wake up. He's not schizophrenic. He's not going to tell you anything dealing with duality. He does not operate like that. He is not the author of confusion, but your enemy is. So, the benefits to eating crickets. There are a number of benefits to eating crickets. Crickets may offer health benefits and to provide more sustainable, environmentally friendly source of protein and other animal-based protein sources. And amazingly, the only animal that I remember even us talking about in the Old Testament, for example, is, some fish and there's some lamb, some things of that nature. All right. And I know there'll be somebody that's going to go to the extreme. But for that, man, are you supposed to eat any animal? Dude, you ain't supposed to eat no cricket. The main reason people use crickets as a source of protein is that they're rich in many nutrients, especially protein. In fact, 2020, do you see the year? Do you see the year? Well, they're building up. They got you wrapped up with Charlton Heston. Oh, mesmerized with Charlton Heston. Back in the 80s, baby. Back in the 70s, baby. Back in the day, baby. All of the stuff that Charlton Heston did took you to today. Whether it's the Omega Man, whether it's the other one talking about Soylent Green, whether it's even dealing with the monkeys. That cat did movies that's even dealing with the monkeys. And I don't mean, hey, hey, we the monkeys. I mean the monkeys. In fact, one 2020 review found that most edible crickets have a higher protein content than more common animal based protein sources such as goat, chicken, and pork. The review found that the body can digest a slightly lowered proportion of the protein from the crickets than from eggs, a lower proportion than from eggs. Milk or beef, however, it also showed that the body digested cricket protein better than popular plant based sources of protein. You don't even need no rice and corn. You see that? Such as rice and corn. You don't need no rice. You don't need no corn. Just sit down and eat these crickets. You don't need no rice and no corn. Somebody get the like button going here for me. And I'm preaching good today, y'all. Come on now. We talking today. I need y'all to go ahead and hit that like button and throw me some of them coins down there. Throw $2 at your girl. Throw something at me. You can throw a roll of quarters. I'll catch it just the same. But this is what they're trying to tell you. Better than the rice and better than the corn. Plant-based. This was 2020. Okay, so this came after 2020, right? In fact, one 2020 review. When did all the information start to go a little cuckoo and cattywampus? Well, between 2012 and forward. And it actually started long before that, but we're focusing on the whole 2030 agenda. That's what I'm really laying out there for you. Okay? I'm laying all of that out there for you to get that, for you to see this. Share this out, you guys. Share it out. Because a lot of people are talking about the crickets, but ain't nobody putting it down. No. They're giving you one side. See these here, there's our cheese puffs, and look at this right here. They got the cheese puffs and they got all this. No. Okay, that's cool. But you need to understand something. That everything is leading you right to 2030. And the stuff that ain't leading you to 2030 is trying to reach way past that and hit 2050. Why? Because unlike us, they are able to keep their agendas. And unlike us, they try to keep their word the best that they possibly can. Why? Because they know who they follow. And I cannot be me and bring this information to you without attaching it to the spiritual realm. There's absolutely no way. I'd be remiss if I did that. You could just strip me of my degree. You could just strip me of my licensure, of my ability to preach the word. You can just strip me of all of that stuff if I do not take the story like this and attach it to what is spiritual. Why? Because everything we deal with starts in the spirit realm first. Every single thing starts there. And they know it. That's the reason why they mind massage us, or at least attempt to. It don't work on most of y'all in the chat, though. Not at all. It don't work on most of y'all. Because y'all are more than awoke, more than awake, more than alert. You're watchful and you see what's really good. And that's the reason why I need you to make sure that you share this as long as it's available. Okay? The review found that the body can digest a slightly lower proportion of the protein from crickets than from eggs, milk, or beef. However, it also showed that the body digested crickets protein better than popular plant-based sources such as rice and corn. Now, who did the source? Here's the source, one trusted source. When you guys get the links to this story, I want y'all to click in this. Please study this stuff, y'all. Don't just listen to what I'm telling you. I need you to deny what I'm telling you, because in the denying of what I'm saying, you're going to learn the truth on your own. I need you to doubt me. And I need you to click the links that are down below inside of the production notes so that while you're doubting me, you can gain some truth and then gain more truth from that and step outside of what I'm giving you and go dig up some more truth on your own. Why? Because you got to study to show yourself approved. This stuff cannot just be here to tickle our ears. It cannot be here to just tickle our ears. It's got to be to where we're sharing this information and you guys are grabbing this information while we can give this information, while we can talk about this information. Because the day coming. The day coming. Yeah, the day coming. So, crickets have a hard exoskeleton that contains chitin, a type of insoluble fiber that's hard to digest. That's a part of the reason why this stuff is not good for you. The chitin, look up chitin. Look it up. Okay? That's hard to digest. A type of insoluble fiber that's hard to digest. That is why cricket protein digestibility varies. When the exoskeleton is removed, the digestibility of the protein from the crickets increases dramatically because Yah never intended for us to eat crickets. He never intended for us to eat crickets. He never intended for us to go out and like an aardvark, stick our whole entire nose down inside of a what are those bugs we just got to talking about that eat up all the wood? He never intended for us to eat termites. We don't have no snout that's supposed to stick down on the ground and inhale all the ants and inhale all the termites. That's not who we're supposed to be. When the exoskeleton is removed, however, the digestibility of the protein from crickets increases dramatically. There are four trusted sources for that one when you get this story. Studies showed that cricket protein powder contains 65.5% protein. An adult cricket provides 13.2 to 20.3 grams of protein per 100 gram serving. Oh my God, for those of you who are really interested in understanding about your keto diet, wanting to stay abreast and eating all that you need for you to be sustained with a ketosis status level, then you need to know about this. Huh? Like lobster meat, Daryl Calhoun said. Suck out the guts. Rooster says. Our masters will make sure we get the protein part of our cricket meals, right? This is from David Bentley, my brother David. He says, hey, wouldn't try to feast on the crap parts, would they? Hmm. You know what, Walking Truth? The reason why we started out talking about the parasites from the inception of this story is what we laid, right? That's the main reason why. Walking Truth says, don't eat them. They have parasites. Well, we just got through covering what you need to do. Go on to my homepage. Click that first link right there. Click that first link that says Elevation Time. Click that link. Go on over there and see what you need. Take care of yourself. Bugs, fam. Bugs, fam. Watchful Letter says, I'll have a $8 fill up bucket of Kentucky Fried Crickets. And then Starfire, as usual, will be cutting up bug tacos, whole cricket flour. Y'all, we laying it out. We're laying it out. We're laying it out. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Let's keep going. All right. So go on ahead, make sure you hit this right here where it says the five trusted sources. Interestingly, some of the species of crickets are complete sources of protein, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids. Well, what do you know? in ideal proportions. Let me look up something. Or do we have any mods here that have? I'm going to look up something. So we're going to chat while I'm looking this up, you guys. I want to see. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Frogs. Are the biggest predators of crickets. Huh. Frogs are the biggest. I wonder if I can open up this, if it'll let me open this whole thing. Predators. Factsking.com. I don't know if it'll let me. The top 10 predators of crickets. Okay, you guys, here's what we're also going to do. Okay. What we're also going to do is we're going to look at that because there's a purpose for them. Oh, the amino acids in ideal proportions. Are you a frog? No, we're not. It goes on to say that others are incomplete sources of protein due to their low levels of amino acids, like tryptophan. Is that tryptophan and lysine? Is that what that says? Yeah. There are 5 sources there. Click it. As long as your diet contains multiple sources of protein, you don't need to be overly concerned with getting adequate amounts of amino acids. Well, because they're available in many foods. 7 trusted sources for that. Regardless, crickets are rich in protein. Therefore, cricket-based products like protein powders, protein bars would benefit you if you're looking to increase your daily protein intake. And they're all going to charge you astronomical prices. Yeah, they are. You're going to pay a lot of money. Whole lot of money to get these bugs in you. In the very beginning. Sure. Then they're going to be adding them as people's a part of their stipend, especially those who they have to round up to live inside of some of those smart cities, because those folks are going to be all handout people. All the handout people going to be living in those cities. Crickets are a good source of vitamins and minerals as well as fiber. In addition to protein, crickets are high in many other nutrients, including fat, calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, copper, folate, biotin. Okay? Biotin does what, ladies? Ladies and gentlemen, especially for the gentlemen who have the U-turn and I'll drive at the top of their head. Biotin. Well, biotin is that one particular thing, as well as a few others, that help your fingernails grow, that help your skin become healthy. Pantothenic acid and iron. One study found that the iron content of crickets was 180% higher than that of beef. Plus, the crickets were higher in calcium and the B vitamin riboflavin than meat products like chicken, pork, and beef. Well, there are 6 sources to trust for that one. You don't want to just trust them. Go to the 6 other sources that tells you that eating these crickets are so much better for you. What's more, crickets are a rich source of fiber. Well, because we just got through seeing the scale, the exoskeleton, right? But the body's not necessarily able to digest all of them, but you can use the inside. Okay. A nutrient that other sources of animal proteins lack. Studies show that the fiber content of crickets can be as high as 13.4% in a 100-gram serving. And there's another one trusted source for that. Additionally, crickets provide fat. Oh, well, now you're right down inside of a person who loves ketosis, a ketogenic diet. Why? Because you got to have protein, you got to have fat for ketogenic as well as veggies. And this has it all. Additionally, crickets provide fat, mostly in the form of polyunsaturated fatty acids. Studies have linked these to health benefits, including improvements in risks of heart disease. Why would anybody, unless they had some diabolical plan, bring all of this to your attention? Why would they do this? If this is the reason why they've got these monopolies right now taking over all the food. These are the enemies of man that are burning down stuff, that are watching animals just drop at once with a particular part of energy that's just directed and out they go. Let's just lay it all out here. Let's lay it all out here. So now, all of the cats that have invested in fake meat and all these different vegetables that have purchased up all the farmland, these are the enemy. This is how the monopoly works. All of these guys have enough money to hide and shroud who they are while purchasing all this stuff. And so what these guys do is they put that information out there, that very quietly, so they can't say that they didn't tell you. Meanwhile, they're getting rid of their competition. Getting rid of all of the competition, all of the meat packing plants, all of the food packing plants, getting rid of all of the beef and the cattle. California had the craziest laws with regards to cattle on the planet that the people who grew who had the farms or who had all the cattle, they had to go and make all this compliance to do this type of machine with that type of machine. Well, to save the trees, to save to save the streams, to save the environment, to save all that. We don't give a rip about you. Why? Because eventually we want to take over everything. And the only way that we can take over everything and to take over our enemy is to remove our enemy. And that is exactly what's happening. Now, you have tried this in any other industry at any other time in the United States. Okay, maybe 50 years ago, even let's say 50, let's say 40, because I'll be 58 next month. So that will put you right around 18, right? So let's do this. 40 years ago, you had tried to have all of this monopoly, taking this company, that company, this company, that company, this company. We don't even look at our laws anymore. That's out the window, obviously. Okay. But these individuals have literally done all of this, and they are the ones who are now pushing this stuff. Are you following what I'm trying to say? By removing their competition, the same way they did with the doctors, then they become the only source. And because they keep us confused enough by looking at enough stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with the price of tea in China, pardon the pun, they're able to exact what they want. You got to even pay to go fish now. Over the past several years, yes, of course, we've known you had to have a license, but let's think about it. When Yahweh Shah was out there on the getting that little kid's 2-piece meal or 3-piece meal or whatever that turned into all of that fish and bread, did they have to have a license? Matter of fact, if they didn't have to have a license, was the water as nasty and as tainted as it is right now? Mankind has been doing what mankind is doing as far as eating and sleeping and living and, pulling off all the toxins. Boy, oh boy, they're going to get it. 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 They in for it. And it's not going to go the way they think. It's not going to go the way they think. They're going to get it, though. Yep, they're going to get it. I believe they're going to get it. So in any case, they got that. Listen, there's all of the sources right there. Look, you got 1 trusted source, 8 trusted sources, 9 trusted sources, and 10. 1, 8, 9, and 10. In that order. For you to trust and believe what they want you to do and what they want you to know. They spent a lot of money studying a lot of this stuff because they have to convince you. Probably didn't even study it. They probably just whipped it all together. They probably did a Control F, find, and several different documents, found the word chicken, replaced it with crickets. That's how cheap they are. Farming insects such as crickets for food may be more sustainable and environmentally friendly than raising animals such as chickens, pigs, and cattle. For example, one study found that broiler chickens were associated with 89% higher greenhouse gas emissions than crickets per unit of edible protein produced. According to the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, livestock account for about 14.5% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. Reducing your red meat intake and replacing it with more sustainable options like insect or plant protein is a smart way to help the environment. And there are 2 trusted sources that will help confirm that last comment. Insect farming could also help reduce food waste if farmers chose to feed food waste to their insects. If farmers chose to feed food waste to their insects. Okay. All right. Including insects as a part of the diet may help industrialized countries create a more sustainable food system and make a dent in greenhouse gas emissions. May benefit gut health. Some research suggests that chitin, the insoluble fiber found in crickets, may be beneficial for the gut. Chitin may act as a prebiotic, promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria in the gut. A small 2018 study that included 20 healthy people found that consuming 25 grams of whole cricket powder per day for 2 weeks led to increased growth of beneficial gut bacteria and reduced inflammatory markers. There's 13 trusted sources for that. In the study, the Bifidobacterium animalis, a beneficial strain of gut bacteria, increased by 5.7%. There's 13 sources for you to trust that. Don't trust the Bible. That's just one. At the same time, tumor necrosis factor alpha TNF, and there's that pretty little A there, which is linked to inflammatory gut conditions, was reduced in people who consume cricket powder compared with people who ate a controlled diet. There's again 13 sources. These findings suggest that eating crickets may benefit gut health. However, research is limited at the same time, and scientists need to do more studies to fully understand how consuming crickets may affect gut health. Now, there's also a summary here, and you can read that. And then here's something great. This is grandkids, one of the ones visiting from Georgia. Sorry. It says, are there any risks to eating crickets? I'm going to read the last two of these, maybe the last three. Even though crickets offer a number of potential health benefits, many consumers in Western countries remain skeptical of cricket-based food products due to safety concerns. As mentioned above, insects have been safely used for food for thousands of years, and they are commonly consumed in many parts of the world. Plus, limited research suggests that consumption of cricket products, such as cricket protein powder, is safe and does not cause adverse health effects in healthy people. Again, 13, there it is. For the triskaidekaphobians, the next story will have 14. It'll show right down there. But eating insects may come with some other safety concerns. For example, studies suggest that people who are allergic to shellfish or dust mites could also have allergic reactions when eating insects. That's 14 sources for that. However, there is currently a lack of research in this area. It just escapes us. All this wonderful research is so that you should be eating the bugs and all of the crickets. Don't you worry about that. But there's a lack of research in this area, and scientists need to do more studies to fully understand the potential for allergic reactions related to eating insects. Here's what I'd like to say for all of the good researchers that are out there, because see, these studies that they're talking about that are the good studies, well, those are paid for the people, but by the people who want you to eat the bugs. So what we need is people who are into this type of stuff. We need for those folks to go out and do all the research, and then let's juxtapose the two, because there's never a fair story. It's always do this because it's good for you. Do this, and we're going to tell you to trust us because, well, we're the scientists, and you need to trust us. Never, ever, ever will you ever get a full story. You're going to always get a piece of the story. Because a piece of the story is all you need, especially if we got 30 trusted sources that have been paid for by these organizations for you to trust them. Well, there's 30 sources. Well, there's 13 sources. Well, there's 13 here, 13 there, 13 everywhere. There are 13 sources. That's how you can trust this information. Why? Because these are the sources that we paid to tell us this stuff. Again, control, find, control, find, control, find. And you can change it. Go and find all these other stories from years and years ago. Control, find, and then just turn it into what you want it to be. Because they're too stupid to go do any research. Y'all already know these people don't read. We should have had all these people turned around onto all of the crickets by now. What do you mean they're not eating crickets yet? Tell you what, burn down all of their food sources, and that way they'll be looking at the crickets a whole lot better. That's what I want you to do. I want you to hurry and burn on all their food sources. And then drop thousands of cows. Just direct energy about 1 billion cows in different times. Get 100 over here, 100,000 over there, 100,000 over here. And by the time it's all done, we're going to have at least 1 billion head of cow. At least. All over the world. Are you kidding me? Do it. Direct energy. They're going to eat crickets. And darn it, they're going to like it. They're going to be happy. And they're going to own zero. And they're going to be eating crickets. They ain't going to be able to let any of the chitting work. Okay. Some researchers caution that insects such as crickets may act as carriers to pathogens. Pathogens that could infect humans and animals. Pathogens. Homepage, elevationtime.com. You go through that right there, that go to me. Y'all don't see me pushing pillows or none of that other stuff no more. I'm pushing stuff that can help your health. So go on over there. That little bitty passage right there, that one sentence right there tells you some researchers caution that insects such as crickets may act as carriers of pathogens that could infect humans and animals. In a 2019 study, researchers analyzed insect samples from 300 household insect farms and pet stores in Central Europe, including 75 cricket farms. The study found parasites in more than 81% of the insect farms in 30% of those cases. The researchers found parasites that could potentially cause disease in humans. There's 15 trusted sources for that. This doesn't necessarily mean eating insects is dangerous. What are you talking about? So, you can still eat the insects. The story just said it doesn't mean that you can't. You can still eat them. He's always listening to these types of things and running off at it. He's always doing it. Potentially cause disease in humans. But this doesn't necessarily mean that eating insects is dangerous. It simply points out that eating livestock, eating insects has the potential to make you sick. Therefore, insect farms should implement strict safety guidelines. Well, damn it, we can't even get the food that we're eating to have safety guidelines that are adhered to. What we're doing recall after recall. So the insect farm should now implement strict safety guidelines if they're producing crickets for food. Well, we can't even get the FDA to monitor the food that we are supposed to be eating. And now we want all of these bug people. We got you. We got you, bug folks. We got you. You better go ahead and get yourself some implementation of some stricter safety guidelines. We need you to get some quality assurance people. Even though all of these things for regular food are supposed to be put in place and they're supposed to be adhered to, we are not having it adhered to. Why? Because they are lackadaisical at best when it comes to doing their doggone job. Their doggone job. Eating dogs and cats too. That's for another day. It's for another day. It's another story. Huh? You guys, I hope that I'm not on that side, but if there are any super chats, I will read them when I come on the other side. I'm on this side, so I can't even see the screen for StreamYard at all. So if there are any super chats or any comments, I will get to those in just a few minutes. Don't want to let you think that I would ignore your giving or ignore you, because I'm not. But then it goes on to say that overall scientists need to do more research to better understand the potential risks of eating insects such as crickets. Here goes the summary, and then there's the bottom line. Okay? Even though people around the world consume insects safely, there is a lack of research about the potential risk of eating them. Scientists need to do more high-quality studies to determine the safety of regularly eating crickets. The bottom line, well, crickets are highly nutritious and affordable, which is why people eat them in many areas of the world. They ain't affordable, they're plenteous because you're talking about underdeveloped countries. They're affordable because you can't regulate how many people can go down here and dig in a hole and pull up a whole bunch of termites. That's the reason why they're affordable, because as long as bugs are around, you can't tell people they can't eat them in them poor, impoverished areas. So now what you're trying to do is to dress it all up for us here in America, here in North America, dress it all up. So like a bunch of idiots, we run out here and do what people did for the past 2 years and trust y'all. And then later, of course, drop dead. Of course. It's inevitable that you're going to itch your way to death. You're going to just itch and scratch all night long. Just me and that part of the body just itching and scratching, not knowing why. Well, because they said that they were safe to eat. Well, I don't know what's the problem, Bart. Every night when I go to your room, I have to use a flashlight to check your bottom to see what's wrong with you. Now, I don't know what you've been doing, but wow, there seem to be a lot of parasites you've got, Bart. I don't know how to fix it. But I remember we can take a little turpentine and sugar. Yeah, that's right. And in a minute, they're going to be doing that. And in a minute, on top of doing that, they're also going to have a whole bunch of children out here just messed up. They're going to be eating fruit pies and all kinds of stuff with all of this stuff in it. In a minute, the kids ain't even going to want those. Do you remember a day when you take a kid to McDonald's and they would love to eat the hamburger? Now you're at the time frame where you take a kid to McDonald's, those children, the little toddlers, don't even touch those hamburgers. Why? Because the children know something that the adults just don't seem to get. And that is they still got their knower intact. They still got that particular chakra up yonder that's still working. That part ain't closed off. It's not completely calcified. 100. So the children know, I'm not touching that burger. They may look at the french fries and eat a couple and then they don't touch nothing else. And then they may drink the box of juice. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Don't mess with that. That'll cut you. Leave that alone, kid. It'll cut your whole finger. Yeah, leave it alone, dude. Huh? The kids got enough sense to know that. Children have enough sense to know that. It's the adults that have a problem. It's the adults. We're the ones that's got the issue. Yeah. Crickets are highly nutritious and affordable, which is why people eat them in many areas of the world. Crickets are a good source of protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, and fiber, and may benefit gut health. And they got to make money off of even the doggone bugs. Can you think about that? These greedy sons of a guns, they make money off of everything, including the bugs. In the other countries, they can't. But over here, they can. Oh-wee. Plus, there are more environmentally friendly protein options other than animal-based proteins, such as chicken or beef. However, eating insects may come with potential risks, such as allergic reactions and pathogen contamination. For this reason, you should purchase cricket products only from, again, trusted sources. Trust them sources. And if you're interested in trying cricket products, consider a cricket-based protein powder or protein bars like High or XO or EXO. See that? See that? Yeah. I had to bring it to you. Why? Because it's crickets. And it's what's for dinner. I want to bring this to you right here. Let me see if I copy this one and set it here, what would happen? Let me go here. Let me see if it'll let me give you guys the story without me having to change the screen over. Okay? I hope you guys can see this because there are 10 predators of crickets that eat crickets. And the reason for me wanting to bring that particular part to you was because of the fact that I wanted to understand why our Father wanted these predators to eat crickets. I wanted to understand and study exactly why and how the predators needed all of the amino acids and needed all of the proteins. What type of animals? Hey, Karen Sweet, I'm on this side now. Hey, Jason Kirby, B Borrowed, huh? William. Hey, William Nicholson. How you doing, baby? Okay. I'm about to go back on this side now that I switched this over. All right. But I wanted to understand why there were specific predators and I wanted to know which animals were the predators of crickets and why they may have needed all of the accoutrement or the attributions, okay, the attributing factors to health that they do. And here's why. So let's read this together. The top 10 predators of crickets that eat crickets. Most types of crickets are defenseless insects. They have only their strong hind legs to jump away from danger and are camouflaged to hide in their habitat. Something funny I just thought about. Now, what happens when they don't have no more crickets? What you gonna be eating then? Roaches? Well, we had a whole bunch of crickets that we were farming, and now we don't have no more crickets to farm. So now y'all got to eat roaches. Let me come on back on this side. What's gonna happen when they run out of the crickets? What happens then? What you eating? Roaches? Cockroaches? Chocolate covered roaches? I just had to throw that in there. Let me go ahead on and finish reading so we can get on up out of here. All right, so they have only their strong hind legs to jump away from danger and are camouflaged to hide in their habitat. If they are caught by the leg, they can release the leg and continue to live with the 5 remaining ones. Please don't do that. I am about to turn into Willy Wonka in a minute and say, no, please stop it. You're going to hurt yourself. And then when you hurt yourself, you will realize that you hurt yourself on your own. Now you came here to visit and I don't want you to hurt yourself. So I'm going to tell you again, don't talk. I'm live. Don't talk. Just listen. No, stop, please. You're going to hurt yourself. Okay? Okay? Here, take the house phone to call your mama. If you know your mama's phone number, you'll be good to go. Bye-bye. Y'all going in the back there with that. Okay, he said, I just need the phone to call my mother. Go take the house phone. Okay, so you'll have no plan and looking at all different kinds of stuff. It says, crickets are the chosen prey of a wide range of animals, but have survived for over 3 million years. So they must be very good at avoiding being eaten. Well, until they send out the human army on them. Here are some of the main predators. The main predators of the crickets are frogs. Frogs are the biggest predators of crickets. With their long, soft tongues, they are able to catch a cricket in the blink of an eye. Their tongues work like a bungee rope covered with a super sticky saliva. Once the tongue has grasped the cricket, the saliva turns watery and then it releases the cricket. Once it does this, it safely deposits in the frog's mouth. Probably because of the outside that we just talked about. Look at these, you guys. We got frogs, now we got lizards, and everybody already knows about these particular type of animals. Lizards, the predators, lizards and frogs. Oh boy. Y'all, come on now. Somebody got to be doing some math in this doggone chat down here. We're the number 2. We started out with frogs, y'all. Now we looking at lizards. Somebody doing some math, I hope. There are thousands of different types of lizards around the world, and not all of them are carnivores. However, those that enjoy a tasty cricket meal. Lizards lie in wait and detect their prey's movements. To be able to catch a cricket, they have to be close to avoid being spotted. They then use their long, gluey tongue to reach across and grasp their prey. This predator of crickets' jaws are well equipped for crunching through the exoskeleton of the cricket. Do you guys see this? The next one is a tortoise. I'm just going to go on down. Next one is the spider. Salamanders. I'm going to move out the spider and I'm going to use the salamander as number 4. Why? Because it goes along with tortoise, lizards, frogs. Birds may eat the insects, may eat many insects. Eating birds. Love to eat crickets. Snakes. So we just going to go ahead on and put the reptile family out there with the lizards and the snakes. Snakes are another carnivorous reptile that eats crickets. If they can catch them in the wild, small snakes in particular can catch many varieties of crickets without much effort. For larger insects, snakes inject them with venom before eating them. Here's an interesting fact. It says, fun fact, on the Yucatan Peninsula, there is a type of snake that eats only crickets. Because I don't believe none of these individuals are people that are pushing this. Personally, I believe they're all a specific type of reptile. But that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. That ain't for nobody else but me. And hey, listen, that's all I got to say about that. That's just what I believe. I do. There we go. That's what I believe. On the Yucatan Peninsula, there is a type of snake that eats only crickets, bats. Almost all bats eat insects, as they are classed insectivores? Bats eat a wide range of insects and millions of them in an hour. This is very useful for keeping the insect population under control. But bad news for the insects. One of their favorite foods is the cricket. With their amazing hunting skills and their ability to detect the faintest sound and the movements, bats are a serious threat to crickets. You old bat! You run around here eating all these crickets, we're going to just say, you old bat. They are one of the main cricket predators. Shrews! Insects, including crickets, make up a large amount of the diet of the shrew. A shrew is a small mammal that looks like a mouse, but it is not a rodent. It has a face like a mole and a very sharp, spiky teeth. They are carnivorous and insectivores, so their diet consists of crickets among other types of insects, spiders, and worms. We ain't eating this mess. The last one is the mantis. Mantis are predators of crickets and other insects. The praying mantis only eats live insects that have just been caught. Although the mantis is a slow-moving insect, it has large front legs covered with spines that are perfect for grabbing prey. They camouflage themselves and wait patiently for prey to approach. The praying mantis is the only identified insect that can turn its head and look over its shoulders. This gives it a tremendous advantage as a predator. Once a cricket or other insects has been spotted, it stalks them with slow, furtive movements. Y'all, don't let these people get you wrapped up in your head when we're not together. Don't let that happen. When we're not together, don't let these people get in your head and tell you that it's okay for you to eat this trash. Please. Because you know what? I'm going to say this. A couple of years ago, we were all together in the same mindset of telling each other, don't go out here and do XYZ just because they tell you to. Don't go out here and use this just because they tell you to. And all of us were sitting here like bobbleheads. Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to do it. Me, no, not either. No, I'm not either. You going to do it? No. I'm not going to do anything like that. No, not me. I'm not doing it. All of us sat here. And now, how many of us are saying that? Even though we now see what's going on now, it's too late for any of that. But because they had you going, we all talking about it right now, but I guarantee you in a minute, somebody gonna be telling, well, I tried and it wasn't that bad. I ate it and it wasn't that bad. I ate it and it wasn't that bad. Starfire, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you very much for supporting the channel and supporting me. Thank you. Fifi, rewatch the movie Demolition Man. Girl, that's one of my favorites right there. I want to tell you that is one of my favorites. You know why? Because it's a crack up to me when they're sitting there and the restaurant that's the one to go to is the one that has right now on the side of the box, or just got to tell on a woman who looks just like me the other day not to eat that stuff. It says for human consumption. But do you think it mattered? No. She said, well, I don't care. I like it. It tastes good. That's why all you need is a little bit of cumin and some lime and a little bit of, some sea salt. Not the nice grainy sea salt. I'm looking to see if there's any more of these so that I don't miss them. I don't want to miss any of them. Okay. Because I've been gone on the other side. So yeah, that's the reason why I like that show. That's the reason why I like that show. I'm looking for any more super chats just in case I don't want to miss them. You made the time to send something. I'll make sure I read it. Okay. So that's the deal. That is the deal. That's the deal. Going right now to the local IHOP. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's the deal. Don't get all wrapped up inside of these people's stuff that you're going to sit up here and then compromise what you know is right And don't come to me with no scriptures when you already know that he don't change. He's not crazy. So he changed like we change. Why are you serving him? If he changed like we change, you don't need to be serving him. That's straight up. You don't know what you're eating, don't eat it. You know you're not meant to sit up here and stick your tongue out and grab something. Man, these are predatory individuals that are telling you what to do. These are individuals that are not like you and me. They're not human beings. They are not. You don't have to believe me. But what type of dodo would make you eat this type of stuff if they did not have some type of basis from their own experience? Yeah, that part. Reptiles. They're reptiles. Big heads. We've all seen the big gigantic heads that are guarding certain people. Come on now. If you go ahead and look at that dude I was talking about earlier today, you'll even see that even back in the day, his whole face looked like a reptile from here down. From here down. My doctor's got me getting used to wearing the contacts for the next couple of weeks. So you guys are going to see me without my glasses so that I can get used to these. But I look a little, do I look my age? Yeah, I do. I look old. Anyway, I'm going to say adios to you guys. I'm 25 minutes over my allotted time. You know, I don't like to keep you here longer than that, but I do have some other stories that are in here that when you guys go down to the link in the description, you're going to look at all of the stuff. I got some stuff that even came from the NIH. That's right here. Let me just show it to you right quick. Let me show you this one just so you have it to see, so you know where to go. There's actually some data from the NIH, but I believe all these cats are not human. It's just my personal belief. And that's just my personal belief, you know? So right here, the edible crickets, Orthoptera, and all this other stuff. There's their abstract. The edible crickets are among the praised insects that are gaining recognition as human food and livestock. Again, this came from the NIH. It breaks it all down. There's the introduction. The rapid day-to-day global population increases is predicted to reach 9.74 billion people by the end of the year of 2050. This population growth requires an urgent intervention to increase food production to keep it in tandem with the expanding demand. As it is, food production may not meet the demand because of the increasing scarcity of the necessary arable land. Yeah, because you're buying it all and then you're poisoning the rest. Yeah, we see you're creating this, the Hegelian dialectic. This situation is exacerbated by climate change and the lack of water and poverty. Well, we see what you're doing with the water. We see what you're doing with the poverty. You guys are doing it all. This, therefore, calls for a shift toward alternative and novel food production systems that are cheap, environmentally friendly, adaptable to climate change, and sustainable. One of the promising options of entomophagy, which is defined as the practice of eating insects. And it's a common practice in many parts of the world. And there are 2,100 species of insects. We already know this. You guys go down below in the description. Please grab this story. Please grab this. It came from the NIH. It's telling you about everywhere that people eat the bugs. This is some good information. Madagascar, Papua New Guinea, all the areas that are not like us. There are some documented edible insects around the globe. There you go. Okay. Crickets have been consumed by Asia and all these other places. Latin America, Africa, a mess. So please get this. The global distribution of edible crickets. Crickets are non-wood wild products found in natural resources all around the globe. You guys go look at all this stuff that I put together for you, please. Okay, as soon as this is done, you'll be able to go and you'll be able to see it, all of it. Okay? I don't want you guys to go on ahead and look at it. That's what I want you to do. All right? So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me this afternoon. Thank you all for your support. I want to thank the people who have actually sent money to the new P.O. box. The 645 Wind Drive. I went there and there was some things in there and I want to tell you, thank you. Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You know who you are and I appreciate you very much. Very, very much. Okay? All right? So we see that everybody is eating this stuff, but they're eating them in different countries, and they're eating them in countries that are poor, and that is what they're turning this country into. So by making this country nice and poor, they're also making sure that you eat the bugs. Well, it's been an hour and 29 minutes. I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for making sure that you are still subscribed to this channel. Look down below. Make sure that you're still subscribed. I want you to hit the subscribe button, and then I want you to hit the bell that goes there to make sure that you hit it. We don't want anything to happen to you, and we want to make sure that every time we come on, you are here and you are part of the party. I want to tell each and every one of you to remember what we always say here on any Felicia Lockhart group publication, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. You guys continue to take care of yourselves, and then I want you to take care of others. And until you and me, we see each other again, please continue to be blessed. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you